History Network News. I'm Luis Quevedo, and I'm here on December 2nd in Charlestown, Virginia, where abolitionist John Brown awaits his fate. Brown, a Connecticut native, has been stirring up a storm since the 1850s, but has recently hit the end of the line. Believing to be God's hand of justice here in America, Brown has been fighting with a group of racially mixed followers. These men have had one goal in mind, and that is to end slavery. Brown is currently waiting to be hung for his crimes early this year at Harper's Ferry. For those who have just immigrated here, on October 16, John Brown and his militia raided the city where he freed slaves, raided the federal arsenal, and added men to his army. Luckily, word spread after an outbound train was led out of the city by Brown and his men. Colonel Robert E. Lee led the U.S. Marines into Harper's Ferry, recapturing the arsenal, Brown and some of his men. His trial was held on November 2nd, where he's sentenced to death by hanging. We bring the camera now to John Brown, who will now address the crowd.
People of Virginia, I stand before you, a man condemned by men. I stand before you, a man convicted and condemned by your court, not by God, and not for the crimes, treason, and murder, but for interference. My crime was that I interfered with that institution so cherished by you, which is itself the greatest of all crimes. A crime against God, a crime against humanity itself. That sum of all villainies, slavery. I dared to act up to the instruction of God, that I should remember them that are in bonds as bound with them. I dared to attempt to bring out of the darkness of slavery and into the light of freedom men, women, and children held against their will in cruel and fraudulent bondage. They are my brothers and sisters. They are children of God, no less in the eyes of God than any one of you, no less in his eyes than the richest, strongest, and most powerful among you. In their behalf, I go willingly and gladly into my day of reckoning. You may dispose of me quite easily and quickly. I am nearly disposed of now. But you people of the South, at best prepare yourselves for a settlement of this question of slavery. The end of that is not yet. The evil it has wrought will reverberate through the ages, and your day of reckoning is yet to come. As our Lord God teaches us in Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land will never be purged away but with blood. I had, as I now think, vainly flattered myself, believing that I could set in motion the destruction of slavery with very little bloodshed. I see now that I was wrong. Nonetheless, slavery will end. The oppressed shall be free.
The camera will now cut off for the main event due to our underage viewers. I'm Luis Quevedo reporting live with History Network News. Have a good night.